first topic, so let's talk about Superman. Now, I know, this movie is definitely highly anticipated. I don't know if we could say necessarily, is it a make or break for DC? Because I understand, like, you know what? I know a lot of people still have love for the Snyderverse. There are people still out here that are going hard over, any little thing about Superman. They want this movie to fail, which I don't get because it's like so many people work their asses off on this film. These actors that are coming in are stepping into big shoes. I understand like all the drama going around with Henry Cavill, but I think y'all need to blame the old regime of Warner Brothers. The DCEU was a hot mess. And regardless of how you feel about certain films, I'm not going to sit up here and say all the Snyderverse movies were trash because they weren't. I liked The Man of Steel. I liked the director's cut of Justice League. I thought it was pretty, I enjoyed what was in that for the most part. Batman v Superman, I pretty much enjoyed a lot of the themes and stuff was in there too. But I think the problem with a lot of that world is that it was just too dark. It was too dark. It was too sad. And even though Henry Cavill was on point playing the part, I just don't feel like tonally he was giving what Superman is about. And Superman is about hope, in my opinion. And I feel like that's the kind of energy that James Gunn is coming with this film. So I'm really looking forward to it. But I understand there's people out there that are still mad. Look, get over it. The movie's made. It's coming out. Whether you like it or not, the movie's going to hit theaters. People are going to go see it. And it is what it is. So you can sit and mope or just move on with your life. Get with the program. Go see the film. If you don't want to see the film, then that's fine. Go see Fantastic Four. It comes out around the same time. I think 2 weeks after Superman. So go support Marvel. We can, some of us can enjoy both movies. I actually want to see both movies, but I'm not that excited to see Fantastic Four. And I think it's probably because I've been burned so much by Fantastic Four when the many times that people have tried to make that movie into a thing. So I'm not really all that enthused and jazzed to see Fantastic Four, but I will check it out because it's MCU. Pedro Pascal's in it. So of course I got to go see it because he's in it. So yeah. So now with all of this being said, I'm excited to see to see this new DCU because the DCEU is dead, but now we got the DCU, and I do feel like that James Gunn right now is holding off on seeing how well Superman does before they start making other announcements. I know we have Supergirl. I know we have Lanterns coming. I don't remember when that's actually coming out. And we got Lobo. We have Clayface. We've got all these other programs that are heading our way. But I'm sure, I won't say I'm sure, but I'm hoping that by the time Superman comes out and Comic-Con and all that other stuff, that there will be an announcement of who is our Batman for the Brave and the Bold, because I know it's not going to be Robert Pattinson. When are we actually going to get an announcement of, okay, what's the official shoot date for the Batman Part 2? Because y'all been taking too damn long with this film, Matt Reeves. I mean, I don't know if you got anything personal going on in your life. If it is, okay, I will feel bad kind of going hard. But it's been a while since we've gotten a new movie, and y'all need to figure out what the hell y'all doing over there. Now, also, I'm hoping we find out who the Batman and I guess Damian Wade is going to be for Brave and the Bold. I'm also hoping that we find out who our new Wonder Woman is going to be, because we damn sure ain't pick. I know they ain't picking Miss Gal Gadot. And I don't think it has anything to do with the Zionist stuff and her being a part of the Israeli army and all that other political stuff that was with her, being a Zionist and all. But I do think that because it's under new management, James Gunn wants to bring in his own people and wants to he's got his own ideas regarding where he wants to steer Batman, where he wants to steer Wonder Woman, because I think those are your top superheroes that they need to be focusing on. So with that being said, there's a story that's going around from Comic Book Movie that said that Superman is looking towards a huge $154 to $175 million opening weekend, which I know is going to gag everybody, because I know some people are like, but I'm like, look, the movie, wait, why is my pictures not showing? I was like, I don't see, thank you. Oh, it's like, where's Superman? Hold on. There he is. Where is Mr. Corn Sweat? Okay. I was like, what's going on with the photos? Anyway, so let's get into the story. So of course it's saying that it's expected to win the box office summer. Well, let's pump our brakes. Let's see how, we'll play into the whole idea of predictions, but we can sit and talk about, box office summer and winning and all that other stuff when we cross that bridge. But let's not put the cart before the horse. So it says the James Gunn Superman has a low end of 154 million, a high end prediction of 185 million, and a pinpoint of 175 million. This would not only be the biggest Superman opening of all time, but the biggest DC opening of all time. This is much higher than anything Zack Snyder and the Snyderverse ever produced. And I think that is the line that everybody needs to focus on, is the fact that yes, you can love the Snyderverse and you could like Aquaman, which I was entertained by. I didn't particularly like the film, but I was entertained that it felt like a 2-hour shampoo commercial. Like it was definitely giving me that. It was giving me Pantene teas with Jason Momoa and his the hair, and it felt very Baywatch in slow mo. Even though it was like, okay, he did do Baywatch. Jason Momoa, fun fact, if people didn't know that he was on Baywatch. I'm trying to remember if I think it was Baywatch Hawaii that he was on. But nevertheless, he it just felt like a 2-hour shampoo commercial. It was cute or whatever, but entertaining, but it definitely gave that. I liked the first Wonder Woman, hated the second one. Like I said, I love Batman v Superman. And I liked the 4-hour Justice League, and I liked Superman, Man of Steel. I definitely thought those movies were pretty good. The problem was a lot of those movies didn't really make money. I think the movie that I don't know, did it make $1 billion or did it get close to $1 billion? I was okay. Well, I'll just to be on the safe side because I don't have the mathematics or the information in front of me. But I feel like the film that got the closest to that whole $1 billion finish line, I probably did hit $1 billion, was Aquaman. All the other movies were underperforming financially. And don't even get us started on The Flash and how that was a mess. So if the money it was there, if the track record was great, there wouldn't be no need to bring in and usher in new people, Peter Safran and James Gunn, and reboot DC because they were struggling. It was like, yeah, they let, the Snyderverse be what it was, but it wasn't making money. And at the end of the day, people need to realize Hollywood is a money making business. It's show business. That's what it is. So if the show ain't doing what it need to do, the business part got to step up and be like, okay, now this can't be what it is. We got to start rethinking things around here because we're just burning money. So they said that to point out this, did say, however, this may not be entirely accurate and the outcome could go either way. The Flash was also projected to open with huge numbers, but dropped off immensely when the Scarlet Speedster finally hit cinemas. Well, I think it was also that the Ezra Miller stuff that was going on behind the scenes with him being problematic. I also think that it was the reshoots. A lot of people were looking at the effects looked really bad. And so there was a lot of negative chatter surrounding the film. So I think if all this other stuff wasn't going on with that, I do think that the Flash would have did really well. But it was the reshoots, the the VFX that looked a bit unfinished or it looked rushed. So I think that also played into it. So now they said with other predictions from Box Office Theory, they predicted Thunderbolts to open with 70 million and the new Avengers open at 74 million. Out of just 4 million, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning was also predicted to gross 75 million in its opening weekend and ultimately gross 79 million. So yeah, it grossed a little more than what their prediction was, but here's the thing. The messed up part about this is, and I like the Thunderbolts, and I think that the movie didn't do well at the box office. It's considered a flop, which is unfortunate. And I like the movie. And I really wish that more people would have come out to see the movie. But I feel like we're at a point that maybe the industry or fans, superhero fans, are feeling that I think they're probably burned from the fact that you've made so many bad movies, or not even bad movies, but like they were disappointed with what had happened, that they don't trust, or they're just not ready to trust Marvel anymore because we've been burned by so many movies. Now, don't get me wrong. After what is it? The Avengers Endgame, we got a couple of little movies sprinkled in there that was okay. There were some that were good, some that were not, and a lot of the fans weren't feeling a lot of the stuff that was coming out. So when we finally got a good one, which was Thunderbolts. I just think that people were just a little hesitant to wanting to go see it because Captain America Brave New World was a mess. So a lot of the fans, I think, were disappointed with that movie. It was like all over the place. It didn't know what the hell it wanted to be, and I probably feel like it was the insecurity of the MCU. I also feel that the MCU was insecure about Thunderbolts, which is why they felt after the 3 days after the damn movie came out, they had to reveal them as the new Avengers. But now at this point, do the fans really want them to be the new Avengers? Because if y'all didn't go see the majority of y'all didn't go see the movie for it to be like this big blockbuster hit, then do people want these second-rate superheroes to be the new Avengers? They're really going to have to be they have their work cut out for them to even want to make them exciting or get fans excited to want to see them as the Avengers as we get close to that point. So, hold on. So now let's get back to the thing. I just want to get that out of my head before I forget. So they also said, speaking of Captain America: Brave New World, they said they also had similar projections of 96 million, but gross 88. Also, what's been projected is Superman's final box office gross, and the numbers are incredible. Analysts predicts that Superman could end up being the biggest box office gross of the summer. Superman domestic gross has a low-end projection of 392 million, a high-end projection of 510 million, and the pinpoint of $470 million. They said this could be the perfect start for the new DCU. And here's the thing. I'm actually hoping that this will be the greatest start for the DCU because I really want this franchise this movie to be successful, so that way it can kick off and give us a lot of the superhero movies that we want to see, and they can steer it in the right direction. I don't want the James Gunn's DCU to fail because I want to see which direction he takes with a Lobo, solo movie, since he is appearing in Supergirl. And I also heard that Supergirl is going to be appearing in Superman as well. I guess they have to kind of give her a little cameo to introduce her so that way we know that her movie is coming, because I do think her movie is coming after Superman. But that's going to be a while before that comes out. And who knows when Lanterns is coming out. But I'm just hoping that with this being said, it sets the tone. The money, the movie makes a crap ton of money. And once we get to Comic-Con, then, because I do feel like what would hurt James Gunn was that he put out this list of these are all the movies that we're going to be working on and shows that we're going to be working on. And we haven't heard anything about a lot of those projects since. We haven't heard anything about The Brave and the Bold. We haven't heard anything about Booster Gold. We haven't heard anything about a lot of the other programs that is coming out. The only things we've heard so far is the ones I've already mentioned, which is Lanterns, which is in production. We had Supergirl, which finished production maybe a month ago, and Superman. Those are the only things that we've heard. And I think there was a story I saw today, but I didn't look at it, that the Clayface movie is starting to take shape, that they've already started with the casting and stuff. So we'll see how this all goes once Comic-Con comes around, which is in a couple of weeks, and Superman also is in a couple of weeks. But I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Are you excited for the new Superman movie? I say, me personally, as basically I already said, I'm really looking forward to seeing this film because I'm definitely curious as to what type of story that James Gunn wants to tell with Superman. How do you make a character like Superman, who's perfect in every way, imperfect? And I do think you have to find those imperfect characteristics to bring in there with him so that way you can ground him and make him more human, even though he is a god and he's from Krypton. But I'm just looking forward to seeing what ideas that James Gunn has for this world. And then I'll come with my overall judgment when we cross that bridge. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.